Okay, awesome. So, you're on Volskaya. I hate this map with a passion. I hate tanking on this map. I hate doing anything on this map. It's awful. The design is bad. It's 2CP. So, the first thing we're going to look at is your team comp. You're running... You could call it a pseudo-zombie comp. You could call it a... Well, let's fix that then. Okay, that should be better. Yeah, right there. And let me know if it's too loud, not enough. Okay, cool. So the first thing we're going to look at is your team comp. Y'all are running a pseudo-rush, pseudo-zombie comp, whatever you want to call it. Ryan D.Va, great picks, especially for defense on Volskaya. Moirak has a lot of coverage options. The Mercy, take it or leave it. The damage boost is good for Reaper, sometimes good for Reinhardt, really good for D.Va. Sombra, never a bad choice, especially when you're running a pseudo-zombie, pseudo-rush comp. Enemy team, Reinhardt Winston. Not a great tank lineup off the bat, but you can make it work. Ashe paired with the Pharah is weird, because your Mercy's then having to work overtime. And Ana. So they have a lot more direct poke pressure than y'all do. Okay, that makes sense. So, already just knowing this before we even get to the game, they have a lot more poke pressure than y'all do. They have a lot of long range, they have a lot of projectile, they have monkey going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So, you're definitely already not at a disadvantage, I would say, but you're up against a very weird comp that makes Reaper comps hit or miss. I actually do really like this position. I'm hoping you're going for the Fire Strike.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
Okay, so yeah, good Fire Strike off the bat. Your Sombra's set up a little far forward for what I'd like to see. So what we're gonna do... Okay, set up that Ryan just eats the Fire Strike. That's... Hey, man. Okay, and they went in team chat. Huge first pick, but you've lost your Mercy. Okay, so we're gonna go back here a little bit. So we're gonna... Okay, so we're gonna watch this from kind of an angle. So your Mercy already is in a super bad position, trying to pocket your Reaper.
Get into position.
Yeah, everybody else gets out. Reaper's gonna leave her behind. She dies. So, you get a fantastic first pick. You play the corner, you get the early Fire Strikes in, and you get their Reinhardt down. At this point, your D.Va's kind of backed up. Your Sombra's playing around you, using your shield for cover. There is now an Ashe above you with a Pharah. So what happens, or what I would want to see next, is this is where you start backing up. You're down a healer, your D.Va's low, your Sombra's trying to play around you at about half HP. Okay, yeah, so you use the truck for cover. Wow, your D.Va, okay, yeah, your D.Va went hard for that. Okay, monkeys come around. Y'all should be swinging. Perfect. What is this Pharah doing? Okay, really good shield coverage, and I like seeing this. A lot of Reinhardts will not do that. They won't see that Pharah try to come in early, which the fact that she tried to come underneath is really weird. But what you did right is you put your shield up, you rotated the truck, and then swung with your team into Monkey to force their tank back out while they wait for their Reinhardt. And now your D.Va takes that forward space that you've made and can start playing around the choke corner to get more damage in, building bomb, eating up damage from the Pharah, from the Ashe, maybe even eating a dynamite. We can hope. Reaper still doing really weird things. He's not positioning himself up top like he should. That would be more ideal. But as for you, playing the corner, alright, you take that front space, and that looks like you got slept. So, the number one thing I will say, and it's not a big thing, but it's definitely something to think about and something that I see a lot of Reinhardts. Oh, yikes. Something that a lot of Reinhardts will get punished for, especially from what I've seen in some higher ranked games. So, Pharah does a weird pressure thing. You force the Monkey back out. Pharah's 1 HP. Okay, right here. So their whole team has come back to play this corner. The number one thing you should do at this point is you can maintain that front line. Like where you're at now, that's huge. Keep that space, make sure they can't come in. And if they do come in, beat their faces in. But because their Ana's there, you need to keep in the back of your mind, alright, they have an Ana. Has she used Sleep? And the bigger one, has she used Nade? If that Ana has not used her Nade yet, your shield has to be up. Because if you eat the Sleep, you get hit by it, maybe you get punished, maybe you don't. Sleep's out of the way. But if that Nade has not gone off and she slips around you, you're now talking about your whole team being antied. Because they're playing fairly close to you now. So we'll slow this down a little bit. Okay, so Ashe jumps up, you go around swinging, and you do get slept. So what happened here is you overextended. Yeah, and that's a perfectly fine mistake to make, especially because the enemy team is playing very weirdly passive despite having a super aggressive comp. Like they do. They have a crazy aggressive comp and they are playing just scared out of their minds. So the big pickup here is their Pharah is oblivious to the fact that they have an Ana. You get slept and she rockets your face because I guess she wants to try to get a quick kill, which Pharah can't do that. Their Ashe has already jumped to high ground, even though her team has backed off and they've had to burn res. So we'll see here. Okay, so you get up, you immediately shield. Best possible case scenario. You have put up your shield, you've come back to your team, and you're back to playing the corner. This is fantastic. This is picture perfect what you needed to do in this scenario. Give up a little bit of space, keep your shield up, and now we've given up too much space. So, the big thing here is you've given them too much room. You were already up in ability usage because they had to burn the res and they've had to burn the sleep. So what you should have done, and it's always one of those you look back on it, what should have happened is you should still be right up front playing around the corner. You should never have backed off that far, especially now that your Sombra has taken a direct rocket hit because you've pulled back while you're swinging. Giving up that choke, with the way things are currently, not the greatest play. You want to maintain a level of aggressiveness while also maintaining that thought in the back of your head of, alright, when do I need to start peeling? Which, your D.Va can cover your DPS and supports. If you're playing that corner and you're holding that space, your D.Va should be the one peeling for everybody else. So we'll see here, okay, your Moira is popping Coalescence. We'll go back to full speed here. Where is your... Okay, so your Moira is actually playing in a really, really great position for that, too. Okay, so let's see. She coalescences, your Sombra dies because she doesn't know how to look forward, and you charged. Okay, so let's back this up a little bit. We'll kind of slow it down again. Okay, so you've shielded the corner. Your Reaper's doing whatever. You've pulled back. Your Diva's being healed up. Your Sombra's playing around you. Shield goes back up. Okay, so Pharah has taken this right flank. Your Moira doesn't know how to hit Sombra with a giant beam. And here's the first big mistake. Okay, so every Reinhardt on the planet will try to go for an easy charge. And in your case, that looks to be... That is their Ashe. So, what has happened here is now that you've charged in, their Monkey and Pharah have rotated around to the right side of your team for free. And your Pharah, or their Pharah, now has an opportunity to come into your back line. Yeah, and it's again, it's one of those, you look back, you realize, man, that was crazy. So the only way really out of this is that A, they don't kill you because two of their biggest blocks are now behind you. But that also means you're in a perfect position for their Reinhardt to take you off the map. So we'll keep it a little slow here, see what happens. Okay, yeah, you hit the wall, dynamite blows up, and you get charged and die. So yeah, that's one of those just... Yeah, and it's just one of those things. It's kind of a live or learn. Or a live and learn. Like, even when I play Reinhardt, God, I have such a bad habit of just, hey man, I'll hit shift and go on in. So the biggest way I would say that you can correct this is don't give this corner unless you absolutely have to. You do amazingly well playing these chokes. You know when to shield. Oh yeah, and short angle pins, especially if you know you can get it, best feeling in the world. The thing here is, one of your biggest strengths that I've seen so far is you play choke like a mastermind. You know when to shield, you know when to fire strike, you know how to swing around walls. Not only that, but you know when to take a step back, cover your team, and let your supports get everybody topped up. The biggest thing is that I can imagine in your head, especially when they started coming around, you thought, okay, we're not all grouped, I need to pull us back to point. And that's not always the right decision. So, what we could have done, and going back to point is perfectly fine. With your Reaper being wherever he is doing nothing, with Coalescence, you can be way more aggressive, but because your Sombra got picked out, I feel like you probably had that thought of, hey, we need to go to point and hold there to regroup, which, great idea. You lost a player, you had a support ult going so that you could peel back, and then your Reaper would either try to meet up with y'all or die a salty death. So yeah, we bring this back. You fire strike, really good fire strike angle. Yeah, you charge in, dynamite lights you up, and you start getting just melted. Okay, so Pharah's up. Moira's on point with Monkey. Your Diva's hitting her. Okay, yeah, so this is a lost battle. They waste Barrage. Okay, that's fair, and that is a good option too, because with a Mercy Pocket, you can be a little more aggressive going back into that choke. That's definitely a great alternative. So, I mean, they take this, points lost, you get an ult out of them, which is huge. Why they're far barrage there, I'll never know, but that's perfect for y'all. So, okay. So we go back, you're, yeah, playing around here, probably gonna go cheeky fire strike. Yeah. You pull back. Okay, so you've pulled back too far. So, what I want to see more here, and we'll kind of bring it back. Okay, so this second point, and this is something I like showing people, is... Oh, we need to turn that off. Options, background indicators... Nope. Okay, so this is... Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is something I love showing people, especially on Volskaya, because a lot of people don't actually know it's a thing. If you look at, we'll say, just the outside choke, the enemy team has two options. Well, not even just the box and pillar. The enemy team has three options if they're insane when it comes to pushing into second objective. They have main, they can come around left or right side of the main cover. They have the right side lift if they're going to go high ground and then drop, or if they're running a Bastion double stall comp and they're all bottom 500, they'll go left. They'll take the lift in, try to put their whole team on one platform, or Symmetra will make magic happen. But the bigger thing for this is because of how point 2 is set up, you can hold by the pillar and box if you're going to hold main. Or, yeah, we don't talk about the lift. Or, something that I've seen a lot of people start doing as of recently, which I think is fantastic, your team takes the lift first on the what would be your left-hand side, and they hold that high ground. If you hold that high ground, you've now shut off that route for the enemy team. So you can hold mid, where, perfectly fine. Neutral engagements will happen, you can get some really early picks in, you can get some really good Fire Strike ult charge, because they have to come to you. Or, you take the high ground, your DPS and your Zenyatta are now in a better position to where he can use Discord through your shield while popping shots off, and your Sombra and Diva now have a bigger angle to analyze what's going on. It's one of those situations where you can use the high ground as a way to scout the enemy team, while still keeping your team in a position where they can fight from afar until that enemy team comes to you. So that's a really big thing to keep in mind is, alright, well, we've now seen, you know, what they're running. No comp swaps. They've just burned an ultimate. Okay, take high ground. Let's scout for which way are they going to come? Which way is their Pharah going to try to come at you? And that gives you an option to go, okay, well, we've tracked these ultimates, so how can I best position myself to where my shield is the most useful, while also giving my team the biggest impact for the fight to come? So we'll go back here, let this play out, because you hold up a little far, it's whatever. Get a Fire Strike in, cool. You have Shatter. That's going to be the first thing I look for. Now, Pharah is taking a super aggressive right-hand angle. Your team caught that. They push her to 1 HP. Ooh. We didn't track an ultimate. Okay, so... yeah, Pharah plays mid for a second. Your Zen takes a hit, you take a hit. And you've now pulled back to the box and pillar, but the rest of your, especially your Diva, has not pulled back. Which, that's fair. If you know, wanting to tunge and stall, but this. You pulled back to pillar. You didn't look where your team was. And because you didn't look where your team is, they've now been shattered. So you had a great idea. You hold pillar/box. They can come main. They have to come to you. They're in your line of sight. But on the back burner of that, and it's something most people struggle with. It's a very hard thing to really kind of like dig into. I catch myself messing it up all the time, and then I'll be like, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm 1v6." It's one of those things that takes a very, very long time to really force yourself to do. And it's going to be something that, you know, every now and again you will always mess up, or you'll always just stop thinking about because the fight gets intense, or you're having to start rotating ultimates, or you're rotating to a separate point. So, your Reaper had the right idea. He went and followed after the Pharah. She's now out of your way. But your team attempted to group up, and I feel like they didn't say anything when they did. Because if they had said something and gone, "Hey, we're going to group up," I feel like that would have been the signal, okay, I need to come over, throw my shield up. Which, even, God, especially in my ranks, I don't ever expect that. I play to my strengths. I try to look for my team when I think about it. You know, it's one of those things that it comes down more to you just kind of have to do it yourself, because people 9 out of 10 times won't say anything. And the big thing that comes with that is you learn to track ultimates that way. Like Reinhardt did a ton of swinging early on, and then you obliterated him and reset him. But he got to come back in that winning team fight on point 1 and do everything. So, tracking ultimates is definitely something to keep an eye on, because now that he has shattered and he's low, he's going to charge straight in. He is going to charge, take the first person he gets, and he is going to be screaming for his Ana to nano him. Not saying that from personal experience or anything. So, we've seen this. Yeah. He shatters. You attempt to counter shatter. Okay, so this is something I want to talk about because... yeah, and that's just something that's totally out of your control. You know, you can do everything in the book 100% right, and if your team just doesn't communicate with you, it's out of your hands. But what you did do, and this is a thing a lot of Reinhardt players will not do properly, is you heard the shatter and you heard the charge, so you immediately swing around and you look for your own shatter to nullify that. You were a little off, just a timing thing. They now have Bob on point, so as we all know, Bob is now capable of capping point. Your Moira is not helping your Diva. Okay, and Zen is totally trapped out by that monkey. He is going to die. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is your Sombra's over here. Okay, so Ryan's come in. You got so lucky. That I don't like. Okay, so I would totally tear your Sombra apart for this. So you get luckiest foot tap charge ever. Great. Ryan's dead. You've saved your Diva. Your Reaper has picked off their Ana, so she cannot nano him now. Or anyone. Zen's down, but he didn't have... he was nowhere near Transcendence, so you're not really missing a whole lot there. You still have your main healer. Your Reaper has ult now. and your Sombra has committed the biggest atrocity sin any DPS player can do. She has EMP'd, without setting up, into a Bob and a Mercy. Sure, you shut Valk down. Mercy can't fly. Or she can't boost out. Let's see if y'all find a way to kill the Mercy. Because you're still at full HP. You've done everything right. You've charged back into your team. You've covered your diva. Monkey jumps in. So Bob is shut down. Okay, perfect. You hard focus Monkey and get out his ultimate. So getting Primal out here? Yeah, almost. Your Sombra should have taken a few extra minutes to look at things and go, alright, how can I really set this up? But you did exactly what you needed to do. You and your diva regrouped, your Moira got heals into your diva, and you chased that monkey down. You forced out Primal. Forcing Primal in an already... I guess... Well, it's not 1-for-1 anymore. But forcing Primal out in a fight where his Reinhardt and his Ana are not with him means he can't get nanoed. It means that Rein can't protect him from you, and you've now forced out one of their biggest stall cooldowns. So he's going to start coming after you. He wants you gone, and you charge him off point.
Nerf this.
Not only have you charged him off point, you've put your diva in a position to drop a fat bomb. So, actually, you've done this perfectly. Y'all baited Primal out. You forced him off point and made him waste his ultimate. You've put yourself in a position where you have Mega, and your diva's able to get bomb off to force them out of position. Okay, so you grab Mega, you're getting back to your team. Go for the cheeky fire strike, that's fine. Your Tracer gets absolutely obliterated. Diva is diving the Pharah finally. Okay, so we're going to take a little peek here. So up until this point, you have recovered beautifully. You've done what you needed to do. You've baited an ultimate. You've made them waste an ultimate, or 2 ultimates, and you've managed to get your team back to point to defend. So your Pharah's been your diva dove the Pharah, got her super low. She should be coming straight back to your team now, we hope. And you are setting up left corner, which actually is probably your best position to hold into this. So yeah, you kind of teeter that left corner, go back main, you get your diva back. Perfect. You realized that your diva was in danger, you paid attention to your team's health. Beautifully, beautifully done. Your diva is now throwing. Okay, yeah, there was nothing you could do about that. So yeah, you went for the fire strike, you play out, you get your diva back in. You're looking... Oh, you look over at the Mercy. Okay, so Reinhardt goes in, and you... Okay, so she nanos him absolutely last second. Yeah. Yeah, you got what is known as blizzarded, where something that shouldn't physically happen, happens. Yeah, Reinhardt opened up a black hole to pull you into his shoulder. And then, just to make sure that you knew you were unlucky, he got nanoed. So yeah, your diva's not even looking at the Pharah anymore. She goes straight for the Reinhardt like she can do something. And then, Soldier and Diva get downed. Your Zen's down. That's probably pretty much all of this first point. I would be too. That was super unlucky. and is the 1 out of 100 times where Reinhardt's... That was a crazy good pin. Okay, your Reaper wastes ult. They force out Barrage on you. But your D.Va does follow up, and she does go after the Pharah and kill her. Zen through Discord, so yeah, that was a crazy lucky pin. Holy cow. That was amazing. Okay, so at this point, it's just stall. Bob's back on point. Yeah, y'all are done. That's the end of that point. So, all in all, yeah, there was a lot of really bad luck there, and there was a lot of really bad synergy. Your team, in a perfect world, your team would have been calling targets to you, or you to them, and they would have been following up, but... Oh, well, your Reaper should have said no then. Yeah, the fact that your Reaper did it anyways is kind of sus. Especially when he knows he's a little low. What he should have done was your Reaper should have gotten out and healed up. Which, I mean, hey man, that's perfectly fine. Get all the team bravado you can and make it work. But, perfect world, you get in, you bait out their barrage, and then your Reaper goes in with a support or your D.Va, and she matrixes him so he can ult. Because that would... It may not have even killed anyone. They all may have pulled back out, waited, laughed at him, who knows. So, now we go on to attack. This is where Reinhardt's can make or break. Because on attack, you have to find the perfect balance, especially since y'all are running a Pharah of your own, and I'm assuming that means you're going to be down a healer. That you want to find that perfect balance of, alright, how can I go as deep as possible and stay as aggressive and force them out and make space, but also, how do I keep my team with me and not just feed my brain out? So we will kind of follow this in the third person. There's one particular thing I want to look at here. Okay, so absolutely. Feeding to succeed is every tank's dream. And y'all are at a really good advantage right off the bat. Their Reinhardt didn't push up. Yes, that is a main tank life. Your health bar is totally optional, and you are a master of parkour. So, y'all are already up in this situation. The Reinhardt didn't go for an early fire strike. Your Pharah has set up on the left side away from your team. Your Mercy is pocketing your McCree. Why is she pocketing the McCree? What? Did I miss something? So your Mercy's making terrible choices for you. Okay, we'll run this down. Huge fire strike. You aggressively push that corner, you get in his face, and you go, hey, here's my fire strike, that's mine. Yeah, they were just kind of doing their thing. So I love this. You're playing the corner. You've allowed... What is your D.Va doing? I just saw your D.Va. Okay, so that's unlucky. But what you did here was perfect. You forced yourself around that corner. You throw a fire strike. You hit 2, maybe 3 people. Your D.Va is... Wow. Your Tiva's on point. So, again, perfect world. Your diva is playing choke with you. Probably goes up to the window, gets some backline fire going, eats a cooldown or two. Your Brig has overextended a little bit, but it's gonna work. Yeah, your diva was definitely feeding her brain out. I really wish your Brig didn't shield bash there, because she could really help you with this Reinhardt. Okay, so Reinhardt comes out for you, but ooh, you force him back. You are in it, man. You are on him. Okay, so we'll stop here. You've overextended. So, perfect play up until now. You were running the corner. You kept that space neutral. You wouldn't let him take anything. You wouldn't give him anything. You got your fire strike. You got some early hits in. He is maybe 1.5 swings less health than you. Which, as some people will say, the Reinhardt who hits first wins the duel. Perfect world, that's always true. But you're playing in his team now. And this is the one time I will say that your diva is correct. Even if she's monstrously feeding her brain out right now. Because their Ana and their Mercy left their Rein just to go deal with her. Their whole team, except their McCree, went to deal with one diva. So, you've overextended. You've played the corner perfectly. You got a little greedy. You want to kill this Reinhardt. You know you can do it. And your diva feeding her brain out has actually helped you succeed. As crazy as that is to me, she has helped you succeed. Like, I don't understand why both of their supports left. But, McCree's got a few shots. Okay, yeah. Oh, huge fire strike. Yeah, absolutely. You knew your diva was just... And the fact that they've just now demeched her. You now get a free charge in. Your whole team's rotated. And you forced the Ana off. Your diva throwing has actually won you this team fight. That is the craziest thing ever. Okay. Monkey comes in. You're swinging on point. You know that there is just zero he can do. You are an ungodly force of nature he cannot stop. Ryan charges in, gets nothing. You cannot generate the same black hole he does because Blizzard. And then, yeah, this is pretty much just one from here. Y'all are already way over. This Reinhardt's dead. Yeah. Okay. So, you charge forward. There. Okay, Brig's taking point. This is whatever. Throw your shield up. Get some cheeky damage in. Huge stagger. Yeah. Ranked is weird. Ladder is weird. Okay. So, let's talk about this. You have chosen to go all the way around. Except with your team. Your diva's pushing main. Your tracer has gone top. Your Brig is still behind. And your Mercy has just now caught up. Where is your McCree? And McCree is doing McCree things. That's fair. We will go to you. Okay, so we know your McCree's coming around left side. We know that your Tracer has gone top and is nowhere near Pulse Bomb. Your Diva is main, baiting out their Rein, which is huge, by the way. Your Mercy and Brig are following up, and you're coming around the corner. Fantastic. This shouldn't have worked, though. In any other world, that doesn't work. You made it work, which is fantastic, and your McCree followed up perfectly. Which, good assumption to make. You're the main tank. You would assume they would want to follow the big square. But, always double check. Always take a peek around before you engage. Especially when you're dealing with like a tracer on your team, because tracers are unpredictable and crazy. Some days they will play with you, they'll poke through your shield, other times they'll flank mid-fight, or in this case, your tracer will just start outflanking. But, you've shattered the Reinhardt, he is totally out of commission now. Your McCree is picked off too with a high noon from the left. I mean, that couldn't have ended any more perfect for y'all. And you catch the Mercy. So yeah, you charge in, trying to keep anybody off point. McCree's going around. Okay, so you are just in their spawn, beating this Reinhardt down, man. Except you've made a mistake. His Ana came out and helped him. Unfortunately, your team didn't fully peel for you, which your D.Va should have at least to help. So, you got greedy. You got really greedy. Understandably so. You just totally decimated them in their own spawn. Why not do it again? Touch spawn doors. But it's one of those cases of you've now been overly aggressive. And it's cost you. Getting in there, winning huge fights like that, fantastic. You couldn't have done that any better. Reinhardt's the first to go out of commission. They have to rely on Monkey Shield. Monkey Shield melts to anything. Your McCree comes around. High noons, finds 2. Even better. You push in, clear their team up. Sure, you charge off to the right. Yeah, don't want anybody to touch. Get a cheeky pin, maybe knock some people off the edge, because Reinhardt's shoulders are the size of trucks. That's fair. If the Ana had died just 2 or 3 seconds sooner, you would have lived. Because Brig had Inspire up then. So if, like, a lucky swing to the right and you had killed the Ana first, you probably would have lived. Really weird situation, really weird spot to be in. Your D.Va didn't peel for you, your Mercy didn't peel for you. There's a lot of what ifs there, but the fundamental thing you want to do is when you win a big fight like that, set up on point. See where your D.Va's gonna hold and try to hold opposite of them. Keep a shield coming from one direction or the other. Because the more of that damage that you bait, and if you had been on point, you would now be eating this high noon instead of your team possibly eating it, unless your D.Va knows what Matrix is, which I'm not holding that standard. So yeah, big thing is it's okay to be greedy, but try to keep in the back of your mind what's more important in the moment. Like in this moment, setting up on point, yeah, we'll find out. But like always keep in the back of your mind, you know, what's important to the situation for my team now. Because that ultimately that does come down to your decision making. You're the main tank, you're the big square shield. You know, you're the character that has 550 health, does 85 damage a swing, and has an ultimate that can shut down whole teams. And you almost had Shatter again. So with that, you get a little greedy. The Ana dies. That means they don't have a nano coming into this fight. But Reinhardt's coming back with Earth Shatter. And they've popped High Noon. Ho ho! Your diva has done the impossible. Okay, yeah. So your diva gets shattered, she's out of mech, and she knows to press Q! Okay, your diva has saved this whole fight. And you get rezzed, which is huge. So your Mercy did see you die. Funny how that works. They watch you die, and they just don't quite get there in time. So, you're resurrected. Diva has now eaten the high noon. She has killed 2 with bomb, because your diva figured out how to press Q when she comes out of mech. And that stun doesn't stop you from pressing Q. So at this point, McCree dies, whatever. Their Reinhardt's dead. They are down to... The Pharah tried to barrage when she bombed. Unlucky. Yes, you did. Yeah, you came in and you pinned him out. Because he got your McCree off, and then when you pinned him, he couldn't shield up. And then, just straight up unlucky, their Pharah tried to press Q in the middle of a bomb. Okay, so they have Valk up right now, and they have Primal up right now. And you get a huge shatter! So, you go back around. Okay, so the McCree dies. So this is something I want to talk about. And it's nothing you did wrong. It's actually on your brig. So, you've pushed forward, you've pushed Monkey out, you see where their Ana is, and you collapse on her. Beautiful. You collapse on the Ana, they don't have a main support anymore. Valk is done, Nano is the only thing they have, their Monkey's at less than 50% HP. And he's ulted. And your brig doesn't come with you. So, I don't know what your comms were at the time, but in this position right here, which, that's totally fine. I honestly think that's the best choice. When Monkey ults, what's he gonna do? Knock you around? Jump? But, if he doesn't have an Ana, which is what you were thinking, he can't do anything at all. He has no main heal, he has no quick way to recover, you kill him when he comes out ult. Even with Nano, he's low enough now when he comes out of ult, he'll be at like 250 HP. So, your brig rallies, it doesn't catch you by like inches. She should have been playing up with you, and I would have called, Brig help me kill Ana. Or Brig help with Ana. Or follow me on Ana. Just some call to let your team know, hey, I want to kill this Ana. I know there's a pharmacy above us. If we take out the Ana, we can't do anything. Yeah, which, as much as I wish that would be a feature in replays, I know that that's a whole bunch of other situations that come up, and which I would assume you were, because it looks like your team then looks at where you are and it looks like they want to come collide with it. Okay, no. You kill her. Your brig decides to head back to spawn. Because she doesn't want to be a part of this fight, apparently. When really she should be with you in that bubble bashing that monkey. So, their Nano wears off. Your rally wears out. Your squishies have armor, though, which is good. Which, that's awesome. But no, you did the right thing. You kill the Ana, you turn around, your team refocuses on point, and you look at that monkey. So yeah. You go in, you take the Rhine. You have saved this point for your team, and you are a magician at doing it. People will tell you all day long that no, don't press shift. No, don't charge as Reinhardt. Except you're up, you have more time than them, you've seen the Rein coming, you've already killed their main support, and now their tank gets to walk back from spawn again. So, would it have been better if you lived? Hey, you know what? Into the wall, off the map, he's dead, he has to stay in spawn. Sure, the wall would have been better, you would have lived too, but main tank is out of the equation, their monkey just died, their Mercy just died. You've won this for your team. I don't see any way that they come back from this. She gets bashed. So yeah, you straight up won that for your team. You pulled the Reinhardt off, he couldn't get in to do anything to them. They went down their other tank, and your D.Va figured out how to help your team. And you've put up a better time bank than them.
Score.
So we'll skip forward here.
Ready for battle.
Okay, so we're back on defense. Okay. So the big change has come through. They have a Zarya. They're going to play Zarya Tracer now, instead of the Pharah Monkey. Okay, so they are going to play a more traditional brawl comp now. But you've countered that, and you didn't even know it. So you have... Okay, yeah, so y'all have On a Mercy now. You've also got a Hanzo Soldier. You've built up a pseudo poke comp into a brawl comp. That's an automatic win. You're already up. That means you can get more damage in at range than they will ever be able to put into you. And it means their Zarya can't get close. So, you get out, cheeky fire strike again. Best position to be in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So yeah, you fire strike Hanzo arrows a little early.
Time to raise my APM.
That is fantastic. You got the bubble out, you charge the Rein, you get the fire strike in their team. You have played this corner to perfection once again. Your absolute strength as Reinhardt is playing corners. There are tanks in Masters and GM who do not play Reinhardt corners like this. And now you guys... That was a shatter. But you got too big. Yep. Got too big. You got a crazy easy first fight win. And that's great. You get it in your head, though, and you charge into their spawn. In fact, not only did you charge into their spawn, you've now shattered. So, see, this is great. You play the corner, you get a pick on the Ashe, you've got huge uptime. You didn't wait for the Zarya bubble. Oh no, that was just an unlucky shatter. Well, it was a panic shatter, yes, but it was also a really unlucky shatter. Because you've forced the Zarya back out the doorway, so she's away from the rest of your team. Your Hanzo Soldier and Mercy have swung back around so that they can poke from the left, while your D.Va and your, I would assume, Ana are on the right side. So ultimately, you got overzealous, you got too aggressive, and you pushed up into their spawn, but you did so in a way to where one of their DPS is totally out of the fight, so they don't have a lot of forward pressure. Zarya has already used her personal. Rein has already... I'm assuming he's going to bite the dust, because he's sitting there alone. Well, actually... kind of watch here. Oh no, their Tracer was with him. So yeah, you just got unlucky. That could have played out really, really well, but their Tracer jumped on you. The Reinhardt took the luckiest sidestep of his life. Where? Oh, yeah, oh, Diva's out of her mech. Okay. But your Ana is there. So yeah, your soldier stays behind late. Yeah, your soldier's 1 HP. That's pretty much a lost fight. Hanzo gets slept. He's gonna die. They're on point. So yeah. We'll jump forward here. Too far. Bunch of craziness going on right now. Okay. Okay. They're taking first point. Which is good. That is definitely good. Okay, so in the back of somebody's mind, and it's, like I said, this is a skill that you build up over time. Yeah, I mean, your soldier putting up 60% ult charge in that is huge. So you would want to be thinking at this point, okay, Tracer's probably got Pulse Bomb coming up. They probably are going to have Nano to engage. Your Mercy pockets you. Okay. You make the best play possible. You bait him in, get the bubble out. Okay, that was unlucky. He should have died. Yeah, which that's perfectly fine. Y'all made the communication. You saw you couldn't do it. You backed up. And in backing up, their Reinhardt got a big head. His Zarya saved his life. But their Reinhardt got a big head, and he thought he could charge in after you. Which, that's good. It's like I said, it's one of those skills that it doesn't come automatically. I struggle with it a lot. It's just one of those things that it eventually happens. Yeah, Zarya wasted her projected there, so y'all can just play this corner and it's free reign. That's a really big sonar too. Good. Pulse Bomb gets nobody. You eat that up. Okay. So they've already made a mistake and you have already read into that situation, even if you didn't know you did. Pulse Bomb goes out. You immediately throw your shield and keep your team behind you. Does nothing. They nano the Zarya with no cooldowns. And the first thing you do is you and your team back out. Sorry, you can't do anything if she's not in range to beam you down. It's a wasted nano. So you have not only made the right choice on countering that pulse bomb and making sure it can't hurt your team, you have also made the right choice in learning to back up from that choke so that Zarya can't get to you. So they've now wasted nano. They've used Valk, which isn't going to get value because they're still setting up. Yeah, that was a huge play. Like, that was absolutely a huge play from you. So, Nano's been wasted. Zarya has no bubbles. She'll get her projected up in a second or two. Which, that's a huge call out. A lot of people don't respond to that, and the fact that your team did is huge. Perfect. Ryan goes down. Bubble is gone again. You two can kind of 1v1, and you take the health pack from him. Okay, so. Little weird how this situation plays out, but the nano has been fully wasted. The projected bubble was wasted. You've killed their Reinhardt, and they have no main tank. They have no big shield. So your soldier has just free reign. Yeah, calculated. So now your soldier has free reign to just tear their team apart from your backline. And they grab, you go in, Zarya dies for it. So they have now wasted an ultimate, you have killed both of their tanks, your soldier is raining massacre in the backline. Your team has built up ultimates, unnecessary dragon, I'll say, unnecessary Valk. Boom, Ashe is dead. You don't invest anything else. They res the Reinhardt, didn't they? I would be so pissed if that was that Reinhardt. I would have been screaming at my Mercy to just let me respawn. Well, yeah. And honestly, Dragon and Valk are not bad to use because Dragon is crazy easy to build back up and Valk is, well, Valk. The fact that you have kept your 3 most important ultimates for this fight, and if your soldier were to call for it, could nano visor. So yeah, I would be screaming and cussing at my Mercy if I was that Reinhardt. They go ball.
10 seconds remaining.
Let's take
This Tracer. And good pickup on the recall. I know you probably weren't tracking the recall, but really good position to keep yourself in. And it's going to be a little bit of a meme shatter. I can feel that. So, y'all are actually set up in brilliant positions for this. D.Va's holding high ground. Mercy's bouncing back and forth. The Ashe gets... Okay, you're just BMing the Ashe at that point. Yeah, which, her recall is the last 15 seconds or the last 2 blinks. So, soldier visors, you absolutely BM that Ashe. Like, that is just, you were bullying that Ashe. Or, yeah, 5. Yeah, it's 5 seconds, and normally that's a double blink, just depending on the Tracer. Or if they're a spaz and they dump all 3, if they actually rotate their blinks. But no, that was definitely a good pickup, because A, that means she's going into the fight with, like, 25 HP. I still can't believe that you chose to shatter a sleeping Ashe. Like, that is just... I would have left the game. So, Soldier Visors, he gets 2. You go back in. Doesn't matter. Round's over. Okay.
Initiating match. Ready for battle.
So...
Ready for battle.
Okay, so we're back to the attack. Yeah, which that's perfectly fine. You were set up in a position to get a really good shatter. They did some weird stuff. Didn't really push as a team. They were panicking. It was overtime. But no, you did make the right choice in wanting to shatter the choke. Because A, they can't push through then, and B, you body block. Okay, they have a Symmetra now. Okay, this I like. You go in, you force your way through, you fire strike, and you immediately see the Symmetra and back up. You don't overcommit to that because you know she's got turrets. So, again, another incredibly smart play. You see the Sim turrets, you go, hey, let's take a minute, and then you pull back to get back into it. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, there's nothing you can do to the turrets. That's something your McCree, your D.Va, your Reaper, which I do actually like the Reaper pick here. That's really, really good for this Brawl comp. Yeah. Put the staff away. Pull your pistol out. Okay. So, turrets go down. You have made a lot of space. Cool. Ryan charges. You mess your charge up. That's whatever. Okay. This rotation is key. So yeah, this rotation right here is key, and your team is starting to follow up on it, which is huge. So rotating in through this right door, especially when you know they have a Symmetra and a Zarya, means that you now control how that sim places her turrets. Because you're coming right side, you can either come just straight on to point at them, or you can rotate around to high ground, and that Symmetra now has to dictate where to set her turrets late. Everything she does from this point forward is late. So you've already forced them into a crazy, uncomfortable decision-making spot, which is half the battle. So turrets are there, D.Va gets it. Okay, y'all go main, and your McCree sets up high ground. So this is good. You're shielding your team, you play the corner, you allow for them to make that, or to take the space you're making while they try to get back. You have just, I don't use this term often, but you have done what I call perfect Rhine play. Yeah. So this is textbook definition of perfect Rhine play. You've shielded your team, you've given yourself high ground for your team, you have let them use a cooldown on your D.Va and totally nullified it. They couldn't jump on it. And you've given your team enough space to where that they can actively contest and take point. You could not have played that out any more perfectly. That was absolutely beautifully stunning play. So, you and your Brig go forward. You take point, or your team's taking point. So they are going to set up close, and they bring out the double shield. And here comes the snooze fest comp. Okay, so you're almost at high noon. You're working on Valk. You're working on Shatter and Rally. Which, that's fine. But in turn of doing that, you remembered that, hey, my team is still with me. And even if you don't consciously make that decision, you made the absolute best possible choices to win out that fight and point A. So even if it wasn't like a conscious, you made the decision in the moment, you still did the best possible thing for your team, and that's a huge thing to keep in mind going forward. So their Reinhardt has come to the right side. He's throwing. They're going to have Simwall for this fight. They no longer have a chance to build Grav because they've swapped to Orisa now. So your team goes high ground. You go right side. This is fine. Okay. I'm going to critique you a little bit, just because I feel that this could have been done a little better. So when I talk about taking high ground here, this is exactly what I mean. The enemy team, especially, like I said, because of how this point works, they can only hold point itself, forward, or the high ground. You've now denied the high ground to them because your entire team is up there, and it works here because of your comp. Because you're on the bottom, or you're in that alleyway, yeah. You've now forced them to play on point, but you've put yourself in a position to where your healers have to overextend to get to you. The best play here would have been going up with your team to stay on high ground, and then using your shield to poke out so that your McCree can get high noon. But you can make bottom work. You put a huge fire strike through their team, you force them back 2 point, and now they're having to play on that left alley or that right side alleyway, which is a really hard spot to defend from. They don't have access to their spawn from there. They don't have access to anything besides the Mega there. Yeah, which, you know, it's one of those things where you live and learn, and hey, I can try it next time. But, again, because of that fire strike and because your team has gone high ground, you've now forced the enemy team into a corner where they can't do anything. So because of that, they now have to stay in this corner. And if they were to rotate to their spawn, which is where I believe that's their Symmetra? No, that's their Ana. Because you forced them into this corner, away from their spawn, your team now has every advantage to just dive on in there and blow them up. You poke the high ground, which is great. Shields go down, your Mercy's going to build ult, your McCree has high noon, and you get another huge fire strike. And, huge thing, your Brig realized she could come down and play with you. This is a huge step, especially for playing Rhine in much higher elos. High Masters, GM, top 500. Playing with your Brig and enabling your Brig to use her cooldowns from the safety of your shield is the biggest builder for Inspire. She can get whip shots in. She can get occasional bashes when you start pushing into the actual point. This is something I really want to see Reinhardt's work more on, is if you have a Brig in your game, make her play with you. Tell her, hey, stick with me, use my shield, you can whip shot through it, we can work on like bash swing combos when we're taking point. Try your best to get that synergy down with Briggs in the future, because it's a game changer on how you assault points. So your McCree gets crazy low. He's already built up high noon. Ryan messes up his charge. I like this. Your Reaper's taken his angle. So at this point, you want to start pushing in. Okay, so big thing. Well, that's something else to keep in mind then. But big thing here. You didn't push in when you had the chance. So they've now spread out on point. Symmetra's been allowed to put her turrets down. You've killed the Tracer, but you let her get her pulse bomb off, and your shield didn't eat it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw that you tried, and it was just, you know, minuscule time difference. And honestly, just as a team as a whole, once they were in that corner, you should have rushed straight in. You should have called, we're going right now, get through these shields, McCree high noon, and just go to town. But now they've set back up on point, so you're going to have to pull back, and you're going to have to go, all right, well, we have to reassess this point. So yeah, they push into you and get more aggressive first, you go down. So your McCree holds on to high noon, you have Shatter, Mercy's Valking for no reason. Again. Tracer doesn't have Pulse Bomb, which is fantastic for y'all now, because she feeds her brain out and dies. Okay, so we'll evaluate this too, because this is another really big situation. So you've pushed in main with your team. Your McCree is still high ground with your Brig. Or no, your Brig's low ground. So McCree gets down. He sees the turrets have gone up. He sees that there's the Symmetra up there. You've put in a juicy fire strike to that Reinhardt's face. Your Diva has rotated with you, and your Reaper is going in. I'm hoping for a teleport high ground. And your Mercy is pocketing both of you. So, perfect world, and we'll see how your push works out here in a second, because obviously y'all won the game. In a perfect world, what you would do is you would push in main to take this Reinhardt back to point. Don't charge him, but walk in swinging. And that way your McCree, when he drops down and swings back around, he can now high noon in that choke while you've pushed forward to keep their tank at bay. And then your Reaper teleports high ground, drops down, becomes a Beyblade, you win. So we'll actually slow this down. Okay, so your Reaper did do just that. So we'll back it up just a little bit here. Okay, so Ryan goes, eats your Fire Strike, you come around the box, and your D.Va takes main, which is perfect. He misses the charge. Yeah. Reaper comes in. Okay, so the big thing that won y'all this fight, or the two big things, Ryan misses his charge, and he's now forced behind your team. Symmetra totally botches her wall. Best thing for her to do? Yeah, which that's perfectly fine. Shattering the Symmetra, if you catch the Mercy by chance, even baiting a few seconds to get the Orisa now that she's dropped Supercharger, also totally huge chances. The way that you use Shatter here, totally fine. You go for immediate targets and you go for dangerous targets, which, that's how you want to use Shatter. Eliminate threats in the biggest quantity you can. So, Reinhardt has nothing. He's already charged. He's not even a concern until he can come back to point. Your Brig is pushing in with you. She's going to have Rally. Your Reaper has already killed their Lucio. Your McCree is still holding high noon, which is a little suspect. So you have Bomb and Rally. So Supercharger goes down. You're crazy low. You shield up. You let Reaper grab both of them. You shield up so you can get healed. Okay, there's the high noon. He comes main. You knock him down. Okay, so you've got Rally in. High noon's already come out. There's Bomb. That's not going to catch anybody. That's fine. You've now forced them off point. You've killed their tank. So yeah, at this point it's just you clean up on point, you hold them off, and GG. Go next game. The only thing I would recommend here is your McCree flashed. I would charge them. Yeah, that's absolutely how you want to do that. You get rid of the Orisa, you get rid of Supercharger, Symmetra goes down. By that point, Ryan is trying to come back to point. You swing right around as a team and you beat his face in. Again, y'all have grouped up targets. You're on the Reaper. Your D.Va's protecting you, which is fantastic to see. Good. You're playing the corner. This is the biggest thing about defense. Playing that corner, especially where they can come from spawn, like, they have two options. They come out of spawn and go right, or they go straight ahead. Either way, 2 kill boxes. Playing that corner like that is the smartest thing you can do as Reinhardt. Because A, you can swing around that corner, and B, what are they going to do? Back up? This ball has been a serious problem for y'all, and that is unfortunate he gets that beat off. Huge Fire Strike. Absolutely massive Shatter. You charge him off, you kill the ball. All that's left is the Lucio. Absolutely fantastic. That's huge. You shield the rest of your team away from you. That's really good tech to remember with Pulse Bomb. You can eat all that damage, and if you shield, it won't hit your team. So once again, charging off. So yeah, it's just stall central right now. He uses mines, those all go away. Yeah, it's just they're trying to stall with as many bodies as they can, and you hold mouse 1 or trigger, or whatever the control is for consoles, and you go to town.
It's high noon.
Yep, and that's that.
Victory.
So yeah, the biggest takeaways are capitalize on the way that you play corners, capitalize on using that natural cover, capitalize on the way that you use your shield, your fire strike, and your swing around walls. And the biggest thing is, as much fun as it is to get aggressive, moderation. And I know, especially Flat says all the time, you know, don't be a pussy, don't be a pussy. That's great. And don't be. If you're going to play main tank, have a pair of balls. Get in there. Do your thing. Make the space. But remember that although, yes, you're a main tank, you have a big shield, you have a health pool of almost 600 health, you're extremely susceptible to long-range damage. Any kind of hit scan, any kind of beam that can just nuke your shield. So overall, you have a really fantastic Rhine play style. You have a super aggressive corner hold, which is a keystone to being a beautiful main tank. But you get over aggressive way easily. So the only thing is, while you're learning to get those calls out more, tracking ultimates more, focus on starting to mix in team synergy. Say you want to play a corner and you have a brig, call your brig to come deal with it, to swing with you. Call your Ana to come nade around you. The biggest thing to work on is going to be stopping your own over-aggression and using your teammates as added leverage to win fights. As a main tank, you making a call like, hey, Ana, come nade while I pressure, that's how fights go down in no time flat. That's team kill central. So, absolutely fantastic Reinhardt play. Absolutely fantastic corner play. You have really good map knowledge from what I can tell. You know where the chokes are. You know where all of your major pins are. You know where your short stops are. You know where your rotations are. Those are huge things. Just make sure that you're working on tracking ultimates, that you work on trying to mix in some team synergy as you climb, especially, and work on that over-aggression, toning it back. Other than that, man, I mean, that was just beautiful Reinhardt play all around. As for your SR, console SR, I'm not super familiar with because I don't know like what every rank looks like. I'm gonna say that's probably high diamond up to mid masters. I'm guessing that was what, like a 35 lobby? I don't know, how close to... Really? That's mid-gold. You are definitely not a gold Reinhardt player. That is diamond low masters level Reinhardt play. And that only supports my idea that Elo Hell is real. Yeah, man, you absolutely play at a level that is 2 and 3 ranks higher than gold. Oh no, that's definitely above plat too. Plat Reinhardts don't play corners like that. Like, that's not something a Reinhardt main starts building until diamond low masters. Yeah, I feel like once people get into like gold and silver, they're just stuck forever, and they can be the most amazing player on the planet, and they're just stuck because it's on your team at that point. Like, you can do everything right in the world, you can do picture perfect play, and if your team can't follow up on it, there's nothing you can do. But no, definitely, I mean, straight up, that is high level Reinhardt play, and you definitely should be in a higher elo. Um, for your DPS trio, I would definitely tell your Reaper, call his flanks, and tell your soldier to flank more. Like, that is the key thing with soldier. He can play from any position, anywhere. Which, I mean, that's fine. Support is it's a role that doesn't have to be taken super seriously because it's more on your tanks. But yeah, like if they're playing soldier, take every angle. Run around the enemy team, take their high ground. Yeah, absolutely. Soldier's big thing, and it's why he's so overpowered, is because no matter what angle he's at, he will always find value. That's why if you watch like it's kind of cheesy that I bring it up, but if you watch Samito, the way that he plays soldier, he's always on a flank. He's always in their back line. He's always to either of their sides. He's always on high ground. Soldier can go into places nobody else can and just annihilate. Yeah, your Overwatch guide for Soldier was amazingly well written. I loved that. But yeah, tell definitely for your DPS friends they need to call their flanks, and they definitely need to work on communicating ultimates. Communicating your ultimates as a DPS is the way that you just one-sidedly win team fights. Your tanks are doing what they need to do. They hear that they have another ultimate to work with their DPS. It adds a whole nother 3D element to team fights. No, not a problem, man. I'm always here. I'm always happy to do VOD reviews, and that's the thing I'm talking about. With when Soldier flanks, his value just doesn't stop. Like, he can do so much with flanks, enemy backlines. It's insane. Which actually I'll start saving these VODs and I'll probably start up a channel to start saving all these VODs. That way if people want to go back and look and go over them, they absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely, man. Just hit me up whenever and we'll make some time and go through them. So yeah, with that, man, I'm gonna. Yeah, I think. Hey, man, I'm hoping it's God, it's a weird turn. I never thought that would coaching would be something I'd want to do. But life is funny like that. In the meantime, I'm gonna get a channel started up for VODs and reviews, and that'll start being a thing that hopefully takes off. Yeah, of course. That is definitely a great idea. I'm also gonna try to get a like a screen drawing software so I can be a little more interactive and showing like how I want to how those angles work and what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll find some tool to use where I can draw on screen too, so that way it'll be we can make it fully interactive. Yeah, that'll be that's gonna be one of those kind of figured out as I go things, but it's definitely something that will be worked on. I'll try to find angles that work a lot better versus just kind of overviewing the whole fight. Yeah, the replay viewer is really weird. But no, I will definitely find ways we can make that a little bit easier. And once I find like a screen draw tool I can use, that'll just leaps and bounds better. Usually, yeah, Volskaya is just one of those really weird maps where I don't know, man. It's a weird map. It's Volskaya. That's very true though. The Volskaya as is terrible. It's just not a fun map. See, people get mad at me because one of my absolute favorite map is Hanamura. Hanamura is one of those maps where either like you roll people every time because you get the layout of the map, you know what works best for you and your team, or you just get dominated. Those are the two best spots to play. Like, people all the time will be like, "Oh, just have a sim TP left." Nah, dude, just play that high ground, rotate as you need to, and just dominate. That's very true. Hanamura does. All right, man. Sounds good. We will definitely see about linking up in the future. Anytime you need a review looked at or just hanging out, man, let me know. We'll get it knocked out of the park. Deuces. And to everyone else, I will catch you all in the next stream.